This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this rainy Tuesday? Hope you and yours are staying dry, staying safe, as it is wet in West Alabama. This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral and BamaCentral.com. You're watching us on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. You're checking us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon, the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We appreciate everybody who subscribed, rated, and reviewed the show on your favorite podcast platforms. We're here live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, and we are going to talk about AJ Dybantsa. We're going to talk about AJ Dybantsa. We're going to talk about the transfer portal, the college football transfer portal, and we're going to do something that I'm not quite sure what it will look like, but that's the point. It will be Mason's Minute. Mason will have a topic. I'm not sure what it is, what it involves, but that's the point, and we will have him throw it our way at the end of the show. And with that, we should welcome our friend Mason Woods. You follow him at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. He covers all the recruiting work for Alabama on SI, Missouri on SI, Miami on SI, Boston College on SI. Mason, how have you been handling the transfer portal with your recruiting? How it intersects? Because it's not exactly high school, but it's obviously an intersection. Good morning. How are you? And how are you handling the intersection of the high school recruiting and the transfer portal?
It is. It's certainly a very busy time of year. A lot of different names going around on my Twitter feed or on my X feed. It's honestly it's a little hard to keep track of everybody. You know, you see like so and so committed somewhere, and you go to do a little more research. Oh, you find out this is the third time he's actually transferred in college, and it's like, okay, well, is this really as huge of a deal as I thought it was? You know, but I'm enjoying it. You know, I love this time of year. This is a very exciting time of year for football fans, very excited time of year for you and I for what we do. You know, this week Alabama lands their first transfer of the cycle. The punter Blake Dowd from Colorado School of Mines. He was an ore digger. He was an all-conference player last year. He averaged almost 50 yards a kick. He did have, and I found this just kind of scrolling through, looking him up. He had one kick, and I can't remember now who it was against, but he had one punt last year that went for 80 yards. And it was unreal. I wrote about it day before yesterday. You can find the video in that story. He seems to be pretty dang good. He's only got 1 year of eligibility left, so they will still, you know, need to find an answer for the team moving forward. That we have one other punter on the roster right now. I think he's a redshirt freshman. But obviously James Burnett used up his last year of eligibility this year. Will likely move on to the NFL, I would think. Some team will scoop him up. But it seems like they might have already figured out the punting situation for next season.
That's a good thing. I mean, look,
good to shore it up.
Special teams weren't really an A+ this year. Not an F, but not really an A+. And you're losing your best special teams player in James Burnham. You got to go out and get a replacement ASAP. That's a good move. Mason, this triggered me as I was talking about the intersection, just setting you up to get you started. Do you know how many players are currently in the transfer portal, in the college football transfer portal? Can you give a guess? I've got it right here.
Let me guess.
Give you a guess. It's more than one, and it's less than 1 million.
I'm going to say there are 675 players in the transfer portal at this moment.
That is not a horrible guess. This is according to our friends at On3. On3 Sports, the transfer portal right now, they have a section. Now, look, this is as updated as they have it. It could be it could be guys going to the portal right now.
Luke changing every second.
Yeah, right. Luke Kromenhoek, the freshman quarterback for Florida State, he just went in the portal as we started. So that's not been updated. But right now, they have listed 3,332 players have gone into the transfer portal.
I wanted
2,248 players have found homes.
Good for them.
So right now, if you're shopping in the transfer portal, you have 1,084 athletes to sift through.
I feel so bad for the poor GAs having to watch all this film on these players. It just 12 hours a day. All right, here's 4 games from this kid. Here's 4 games from this kid. Here's 4 games from this kid. Give me a report by the end of the day. All right. Oh man, that is
They're calling coaches. Who knows this guy's coach? Who coached with that guy's coach? Anybody? Oh, I used to work with that guy. I'll call him. I'll see what's up with Billy. Is Billy a good kid? Is Billy a hard worker?
I cannot imagine the scramble that college staffs are going through at this moment with that many players. You know, I wanted to initially guess in the 1,000 range because I thought previously, like, I feel like I maybe remember hearing a number similar to that, but then I kind of thought about, well, I guess that would, that also takes into account the February transfer, the later transfer window. So this is just the first one. So, I'll cut that in half. I mean, just not even close with my guess. That's so many players. It's good that many of them, that over half of them, the majority have found homes. I think
this page, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think this page is the entirety of 2024.
Mhm.
So I think it's all of the guys who were in the spring and everybody
okay.
but like you still have at least 1,000 players that are like, so this 2,000 people committed, like that might've been on the last side. You got about 1,000 people that you're sorting through if you're looking to find some talent.
And look, there's certainly a lot of talent in that 1,000 players. Sorting it out though, that's got to be quite the undertaking.
Is there talent?
I think so. I think there's some talented players in here. I think especially some guys who maybe had big years at schools that didn't quite have the season they were looking to have and are looking to maybe expand their horizons and get somewhere a little bigger. Someone like a receiver from North Carolina State that could be in town this week in Tuscaloosa. Who knows?
Well, I ask you that because I'm seeing lots of names like Billy's transferred for his fourth. You already said it.
Mhm.
Stevens transferred for his 8th time, or Johnny didn't get to play this year.
Mhm.
Johnny lost his job to a freshman. Matthew was a stinker. Didn't get along with the guy. Like I see a lot of bad attitudes, a lot of bad bad hombres in the transfer portal. A lot of guys that it might look talented,
Sure,
but not quite sure how they're going to fit. I got 2 or 3 right off the top of my head. And then we'll get into these kind of guys that might be coming to Tuscaloosa. I said we were doing AJ Dybantsa first, but the mind goes in funny ways. I see Bear Alexander going into the transfer portal. Defensive lineman from USC, if you're not familiar, by way of Georgia, by way of 4 different high schools before that. I see Eric Gilbert out of Nebraska, tight end, going into the transfer portal by way of LSU, by way of Georgia, by way of multiple high schools. Like, there's a lot of talent.
sure.
You sent me a tweet first thing this morning, and I loved it. But is Ajayi Hall gonna get any sort of opportunity? Probably not.
No.
Based on just the stinker
Sure.
off the field. These guys, like, if you are transferring year to year to year to year to year, Bear Alexander, his name goes in the portal, and immediately the Alabama fans go, "Oh, we should get him. We should get that guy." And it's like, buddy, Nick Saban basically kind of evaluated him, and obviously, I think he would have had a scholarship if
If he'd mutual interest, he wanted it,
right. But I think Coach Saban said, "Oh, this is a little probably
okay.
Yeah, too much hassle." He goes to Georgia. No, he goes to LSU first, right? LSU and then Georgia. But basically doesn't do jack
do
on the
anything
field for
anywhere.
either school, and was just a turd monster off the field, bad attitude off the field. Like, same with Bear Alexander. Bear Alexander, like, Bear goes to Georgia, then goes to USC. He skips out on this season after 3 or 4 games because he's lost his job and he's not starting and the season's not going the way they want it to. And, oh, well, I need to be in a high-profile situation. He's put out his preferences are like SMU, like all the big dogs, SMU, Ohio State. There's a ton of them that he just put out. But that was like an hour and a change away on my there it is. Yeah. Oregon, Penn State, and SMU are his 3 kind of targets. Well, Oregon for the Phil Knight money, Penn State and SMU easy. Like, I just don't know that everybody that goes in the transfer portal is worth chasing.
I completely agree. I think that is part of the evaluation process that you have to do when you are looking for players. You have to kind of look at their background, see if they are a guy who has just kind of been bouncing around from team to team looking for strictly what is best for him and not really worrying about anything else, or you have to maybe look for guys who are really in a position where they're genuinely looking for a better situation. They feel that they have, and not gotten what they were maybe promised, what they were sold on when they were recruited. Guys who maybe spent a year, 2 years out of school, 3 years out of school, and now are looking for this new opportunity. I think maybe those are the guys you target a little more. Obviously, there are the 5 stars from 2024, the 2023 5 stars that are still freshmen and sophomores that are still, that are very enticing, that are exciting, and probably are still talented players. But I think Alabama has had more success getting players who kind of sat around on other teams until finally deciding to hit the transfer portal. And hopefully that's maybe a route they continue to take this year.
So it's going to be a busy week for Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, on this concept, you just hit it with the GAs. Alabama's got the Relia Quest Bowl on its horizon against Michigan. And they're obviously, the program, the staff, they're going to prepare for the game.
Mhm.
They're going to be watching the Michigan film. They're going to be breaking it down. They're going to be watching them upset Ohio State and try to figure out how they did it. But on top of preparing for a bowl game, a meaningless bowl game,
Mhm.
you've also got to roster manage. And so this is a concept that this is an area where college football is absolutely broken. And it's been broken for 5 to 7 years. It's been broken since the early signing date. It's been broken since then, and it was broken even further with the winter, with the transfer portal window, just based on the timing. What year was it? Was it the first year of the playoffs? It was the first year of the playoffs that they had the December signing day, where Alabama lost to Ohio State in the opening game. I remember hearing lots of complaints, lots of just nasty feelings out of the Alabama football facility because this calendar change has screwed up this is 10 years ago, has screwed up our process, has screwed up our evaluation and our calendar, and everything's all jacked up. Well, they lose the game. They ended up with an okay. I mean, obviously, every recruiting class under Coach Saban was elite, but it wasn't one of his most elite classes in comparison. So he adjusts. Coach Saban adjusts and moves forward. Point being, they still haven't fixed the calendar, and there's only one Nick Saban that's able to adjust in the same sort of, like, I think that what you're asking these coaches to do, whether you like Kalen DeBoer or whether you're a Hugh Freeze man or woman, or whether you're a Kirby Smart man or woman, whatever you like, whoever your coach is, it's not fair for that coach.
No, not at all. It's not a sustainable lifestyle for these coaches. That is why you see year after year, a lot of them really trying to make the jump to the NFL, the jump to getting away from being a head coach sometimes. Even you look at Kane Womack. He has said it. He doesn't want to really be that CEO type. It's too much. It's just, this calendar, I think it's ridiculous to expect coaches to not only prepare for 12, 13, even 15, 16 games, but then also have to every single day of the week be calling up a 17-year-old to say, "Hey, buddy, how was math class today? You ready to be here this spring? You ready to be here this fall?" It's just insane. It's way too much. I think I'm not a huge fan of the early signing day either. I think it really just messes with when the season can still be going on at that point. You shouldn't have to worry about that.
Do you remember? And I know it's all because of early enrollees, and you got to get them on the campus in for spring practice. But I remember what that first Wednesday in February used to be. So-and-so might flip.
It was so cool.
So-and-so Alabama might get this 5-star today, might get that. And, like, obviously that's changed a bit, and you still get some of that in December. It was so much more of a surprise. It was so much more of the season's over. Here's a couple weeks of a lull to kind of figure out what's going on. And boom, first Wednesday in February, signing day, wake up at 6 a.m. and watch Julio Jones put his hat on. I can remember who was Pat Surtain and who was his corner, his teammate that went to Georgia. They're both in the NFL now. Goodness gracious. Well, Surtain puts on the Campbell, right? Tyson Campbell. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
ball knower right there.
But Tyson Campbell. In both of those 5-star corners out of what? St. Thomas Aquinas? St. Thomas, is that right? They're out of Florida. They're out of Pat Surtain's high school. But anyways, point being, I'm sitting there in class watching these two high schoolers thinking Alabama might get both these guys. Alabama might get both these jokers. And ultimately only got one of the two, and it worked out fine for both guys. Great. But the excitement level.
Yeah.
Was there any excitement this past Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever? Last Wednesday was the early signing day.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got a couple flips here and there. But just.
It really felt like overall it lacked that pizzazz that it used to have. Yeah. And I will say, I think, some of that maybe is, it can be attributed to just social media and things, having a constant flood of information about all of these recruits basically throughout the year. That certainly takes away a little bit of the surprise when you see them. You can see week after week, oh, this kid's been tweeting about Alabama. Like, hey, you might be flipping soon. But I do think that I miss just having the one signing day. I think it was a better calendar for the coaches. I think it was a better calendar for fans. I think it was a better calendar for everyone covering it. It just gave you, like you said, you had that little bit of lull right after the season to prepare for it. And then here it was, signing day. You get to figure out who's coming next year. I wish, I will never go back to it probably, but I would like to see the calendar adjusted in some kind of way.
Because it's just not fair for these coaches.
No.
Take Kalen DeBoer out of it, whatever, Alabama out of it.
Yeah.
You're Kirby Smart. You're preparing for a playoff game. You're scouting what? Indiana and Notre Dame. That's the matchup that they're kind of watching.
So.
Yeah. So you're scouting both those teams, but you're also re-recruiting your roster. You're also evaluating the transfer portal, and you're also finishing up your signing class at the same time. It's just, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's got to be consistently throughout the week. It probably 14, 16-hour days for these coaches, you got to think. And I can't even imagine how many 5 to 10-minute meetings they're having scheduled throughout the day with various players to talk to them about, well, here's why we want you to stay. Here's what we're going to be doing next year. Here's our new NIL package we can offer you this year. Whatever it is, there's just there have been so many more moving parts added with the transfer portal, with NIL, that the calendar needs to be adjusted accordingly, I think, to maybe avoid some of the burnout from these coaches.
You know what I'm sick of seeing already through 5 days of the portal or so, 5 days of the off season or so? So-and-so, and Evan Stewart comes to mind because it was with him. So-and-so agrees to deal, agrees to contract, agrees to agreement to stay with current school. Tweet goes out. Evan Stewart, defensive lineman from South Carolina, big time freshman. Yeah, bad dude. Bad dude, honestly. Not a guy I want to be.
Aired out the whole stadium.
Yeah. It goes on, I think it was on 3 Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Report, Eric Gilbert has agreed to new contract, to new deal, to stay at South Carolina and not go in transfer portal. Reportedly $1 to $1.5 million a year. And it's like, good on you for getting the money.
I don't care.
But you're either going in the transfer portal
or you're not,
or you're like, yeah. If you're not going in the transfer portal, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to talk about you. Even, okay, yes, it is a big deal that you, I guess, got a new NIL deal, and it's one and a half. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like, you didn't do anything. You didn't go to the portal and come back.
Yeah.
You didn't go to the portal and say, I might go to Clemson. Come on, guys, y'all got to pony up. Like, and look, it's not Evan Stewart's fault, but
I think it's just recruiting fodder.
Right. It's just the media. Mm-hmm. The media saying, oh, here's more clicks, more. Like, I don't care if player X is agreeing to new deal to stay with same school.
No, but if some people care, readers, people like that, fans care. And then I think more importantly, 15, 16, 17-year-olds reading it care a lot, saying, oh, well, that's what South Carolina's doing for their players. Well, maybe I want to go there in the future. That's what so-and-so's doing for their players. He had a good season. They made sure to treat him right and locked him in this year. All right, well, I got to go there. I don't know where this information comes from from On3, from whoever's reporting these deals, but I would imagine that there's someone from a South Carolina, for example, that is not upset that information got out.
Oh, you know exactly who let it out from the South Carolina side. It's one of our buddies. Think real hard. One of our buddies from our old job used to come on with Wimpenberry every week. Owner of the BigSpur.com. JC Sherbert.
Ah, yes.
I promise you he has part of that, because he was on the forefront. And that's not like saying it in a negative way.
Yeah.
He was on the forefront of how can we use NIL to make South Carolina better? How can we make BigSpur.com, partner. And I'm sure he had a pretty big part of that.
Well, hey,
maybe not all the money part, but
Mhm.
I'm sure he had a pretty big part in connecting and making sure, making it happen.
it's just the way it is now. Like you said though, if you're not going to go in the transfer portal, and I don't care. I don't care to read about it. I don't care to see it. Cool on you, like you just said. Good for the kid. He's a heck of a player. Cool that he got a new deal, but you didn't do anything.
You're clogging up my news cycle
Yeah,
with real
there was
news,
nothing-
with fake with
There's nothing
ancillary.
notable that happened here.
Right.
It just tricks me into thinking about, oh, wait, well, never mind.
Yeah, you see the Evan Stewart photo pop up, and you're like, is he going to the portal? Just get you off your edge a little bit, get you emotional.
Man,
All right,
oh,
Mason,
man.
let's keep going with the transfer portal talk. I have one position that I really want Alabama to go after. I don't know who might fill this role. I have to do a little more research in that. And I think it's probably going to be a very tough position to find an impact player. But I think Alabama could use a real impactful defensive lineman, not Barry Alexander. Look, Barry Alexander was listed as the #1 defensive lineman in this class. And I think sometimes his talent, his physicality, his size, height, and weight looks good. But maybe Alabama would be better off going in a different direction. I don't think they're even involved in the Barry Alexander discussion.
Yeah.
My wish would be someone of that size and weight with a little bit more of a motor. I'll have to go into the portal, kind of looking this week to see.
Yeah.
But there are several. There are what, three guys that are reportedly coming to Tuscaloosa this week.
I know.
Yeah, who do you want to start with?
I know. The first one that I saw, and I kind of alluded to him earlier, wide receiver from North Carolina State, Casey Concepcion, and he's a guy who had a pretty solid freshman season. I mean, I think he had. I know I just had it pulled up. Yeah, he had 71 catches for 839 yards and 10 touchdowns as a freshman. But then his production just took a fall off the face of the earth this year. Essentially, his targets were dropped. His production just dropped a lot. I don't know really. I didn't watch a ton of NC State, so I don't know exactly what the story is there. I don't know if he just got surpassed by someone, but to me, I think you can kind of tell there's obviously some talent there. He is I don't know exactly his height and weight. I think he's right around
5'11", 5'11", 187 from ESPN.
So right around that 5'11", 6 foot mark, kind of that. Not really a huge guy, but not tiny either. So he has appropriate size for a wide receiver. And yeah, like I said, I 2 years, 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns. That's pretty good. I think he is a guy who maybe is one of those types who just needs a situation where he can actually thrive in an offense where he can kind of be put on display a little bit.
I'm going to pull up a little KC Concepcion look, because he's apparently coming to Tuscaloosa this week on a visit. And a lot of if you are a reader of tea leaves, a lot of the Alabama football players have already followed KC Concepcion on the Instagram machine. So they've already been in his DMs a little bit. Here we go. Here's me a little highlight package of this. Is freshman year. Runs a little out route. Okay, a little physical right there. Looked a little bit like Kendrick Law, chomping and jawing at some people. Here we go. Highlight number 2. We've run a slant. Catching traffic, drags for a first down, still jawing at Notre Dame, telling people all about it. This is his 64 catch season, that 1,064 all-purpose yards and 10 touchdowns last year. Here we go, another slant over the middle, working out of the slot, kicking all the way across. I mean, physical. These jokers aren't tackling him. Not one tackle at least. So little Kendrick Law replacement, little 1-for-1.
Seems like maybe it could be. I mean, similar skill set, similar size. The next
little slot fade right here, running a slot fade.
I think he
end zone.
I think he can do some good things. Another player I saw basically kind of cut from the same cloth. This guy I think is a little bit more of kind of really solely operating out of the slot. Eric Rivers from FIU, and you might be thinking, FIU, what is that? He was one of the top 5 receivers in college football this year, had over 1,300 yards, I think, like 13 touchdowns. And he has been contacted by over 40 schools, and Alabama is one of them. I don't know where they land on the Eric Rivers, list, but they are one of many schools that is seeking his services reportedly.
Well, this first highlight for Eric Rivers on this YouTube it's a play action pass, and everybody bites on the play action. He's all alone down the sideline, so it's not really much of a highlight. It's like, yep, I can catch a wide open ball.
I can catch. I can do the one thing my job is required.
Here we go. We're keeping it. This is highlight number 3. Oh, he's taking it from a left-handed quarterback as well. So obviously a very talented player catching it from a left hand. I'm teasing. Lefty runs a little hitch. So we're running a lot of underneath stuff right here in this first little highlight package outside of the one big bust. Okay, now we're going down the field. Oh, we've beat our man. We outran our guy by 5 yards. Great. All right, now we're going down the field again. Oh, yeah, second time, and we're just outrunning people. Okay. We like Mr. Eric Rivers. What do you think about wide receiver and the need? Because to me, that's a luxury. That's a sexy pick. That's not, I mean, but if you actually look under the hood for Alabama, you've got Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard, and you've got who in the hell is staying?
Yeah.
I mean, right now, Amari Jefferson, Rico Scott, we love you guys. Stay in the room. You're bringing in Latia Brooks and Caleb Cunningham. That's 6. You've got Cole Adams coming back. Jalen Hale. That's 8. You've got Jaron Hamilton as 9.
Still in the mix.
Say it.
Emmanuel Henderson still in the mix.
E-Man is 10, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 10 receivers. Do you really need, or are we expecting more to go in the portal?
Maybe. I think I would not be shocked to maybe see a couple more guys enter the portal. It's certainly, you maybe would expect if guys are going to go, they would get it done on the opening day, but, it's still kind of close. So maybe some guys are still waffling a little bit on their decision. Yeah, like you said, though, I don't think wide receiver is, a glaring need that this team has. It might kind of on the surface, you might think, oh, they need a wide receiver. All these wide receivers are transferring. But I think they're still kind of okay. Like you said, you still have Ryan, you still have Jeremy. You bring in a group of talented guys this year who likely can produce if put in the situation where they need to. So
what you need is a bandit because look, Jamarian Latham's out of eligibility. And is LT Overton going to go on into the NFL draft? Possibly. As a 3rd rounder, as a 2nd rounder, as a 4th rounder, possibly.
Yeah.
And what will that put you in the bandit room? Little Mr. Keon Keeley all by himself? Like, you got to go get a defensive lineman. That's me. Give me a bandit. I always get confused. Is it bandit or buck? It's bandit.
I believe bandit.
Yeah, because it's wolf and bandit. I always wonder if it's buck or bandit. I always get that confused in my brain. No, we're running bandit now.
What
bandit
do we think about Mr. Williams Waneri from
Nuari?
Right.
Yeah. That's how you get that. Williams Nuari
from Missouri. 6'7", 255, little edge rusher.
Didn't play at all.
Did not play last year. He's a former 5-star prospect.
I think that's actually a really fun option.
He certainly has a lot of potential.
Right. Because he came to Missouri highly. I mean, they went crazy.
If you have not been scrolling through Twitter today, I've seen that video reposted so many times of Drinkowitz with all of his staff. And I mean, literally, it's like they just got announced that they were making the playoff or something, but it was a kid committing to them. It's not the best.
The first 5-star for them. For that coaching regime. So I think it was kind of a milestone for them, but comes back to bite you a little bit 12 months later, doesn't play, goes in the portal. To me, that sounds like, hey, where's my next year's NIL deal? I don't like that number. I'm going to, I think that's an intriguing option. I think Oklahoma is probably a leader there, but I think that's an intriguing option.
Does not look like he redshirted. He saw time in 4 games, had 2 tackles.
4 games?
Yeah.
So he's redshirting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the redshirt rule got updated like 4 years ago, right?
I'm just saying, I'm just on his. I don't see. They just have him listed as a freshman.
Right? Did he play in a 5th game?
No. It just says he was played in 4 games. So I guess.
So that's enough. He played in his 4, and the bowl game would have been free if he wanted to stay with Missouri. He could have played a 5th right there.
Okay.
And still kept his red shirt. All right, one more guy. Rumored to come to Tuscaloosa, reportedly to come to Tuscaloosa. Not a sexy name, but I think probably a need. Luke Hasz. Luke has from Arkansas, sophomore tight end out of Arkansas, had 26 receptions this past year for 324 yards and 4 touchdowns. As a true freshman, he had 16 receptions for 253 yards and 3 touchdowns. So not really a dynamic wide receiving threat, but take a look under the tight end hood and see what you got going on in there. You're going to lose CJ Dupree, Robbie Oots as well, 2, right? You have lost Danny Lewis to the transfer portal, 3 gone. You're going to have probably Josh Cuevas taking over the starting kind of receiving tight end role. But from there, it's who? It's not Danny Lewis anymore. It's Ty Lockwood. It's who? It's pretty sparse.
Yeah.
So I think you do need, like, you see these numbers and you think, oh, this guy not sexy. That's not what you wanted for. I think he might be your Robbie Oots. We need somebody to play the H-back, to do the dirty work, to keep the chains moving. I think this guy might be a candidate for that.
I think that's great. I haven't really dove into actually watching what he did at Arkansas last year. Like you said, there's not really a whole lot to watch highlight wise. I think if we go back and watch some Arkansas games, you'll probably see a lot of him laying some blocks, and that's what we'd be looking for. I think Alabama obviously will need to replace what Robbie Oots did this year. He was kind of the unsung hero of this offense in many, many situations. One guy that we have not talked about that I know you kind of alluded to maybe some defensive help, Kelby Collins, reportedly is going to be in Tuscaloosa. We will see.
There's your bandit.
Former 4-star recruit from Gardendale, Alabama, could be in town this week.
That's your bandit right there.
Man, oh man. Very, very talented player. Obviously spent last year at Florida. I don't think he was super productive. I mean, what did he? Let's see.
I don't know that he played a whole lot.
Yeah.
But if I, with my limited education, had a say, I'm pushing all my chips in the middle to bring him in.
He had 6 tackles against 2. Okay, let me see. Full game log here. Yeah, he only played in 6 games this year? No, he only had 6 tackles this year. He only played in 1 game? Wow. Yeah, played in 1 game this season. Played in every game in 2023.
Did he get hurt?
That's what I'm trying to see. No, not that I've seen. It looks like he just hasn't been. He maybe switched positions, moving out of like a defensive end role to a more defensive, like pure, interior defensive line potentially. And it did not go super well. I can't find anything about an injury though.
Collins. Let's see what it says on his Florida page, the University of Florida page. Saw action in 6 games this season on the defensive line.
Okay.
Totaled 6 tackles, 1 solo. He played against Miami, Samford, A&M, Mississippi State, UCF, and Kentucky. I did play in all 12 games as a true freshman. So definitely lost some playing time this year.
It looks like he was one of their edge rushers in 2023, had a pretty decent year, and then they moved him to the interior this year and kind of fell off.
That would be my move. I would say, you want to come play bandit? You want to come play bandit at Alabama, back home in your home state? I think that would be one of the main targets I would have.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just look at what he did as a true freshman in the SEC, and that tells you right there that he's a talented player. I mean, and if that's a position of need for Alabama, like we've kind of just laid out, this is a very good player that you could fill it with, and that's a very attractive pitch to him, I would imagine.
Mason, we talked a lot about the portal already. We haven't talked about AJ Dybantsa, the news today, and we will get into Mason's Minute here at the very end of the show. So let's tell our friends about where we are. We're live in the Derek Daniels State Farm studio. It is raining here in Tuscaloosa, but that is not a problem for us because it is perfectly dry and wonderful here over at the Derek Daniels State Farm office. You can call Derek and his team today, Red, Reese, and Victoria, at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. They'll be happy to take care of you. Home, life, auto insurance. Go ahead and you want to check on your rates. You want to check on your coverage. They can take care of you. 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel and State Farm is there. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason Woods, have your eyes recovered this morning from having to watch First Take?
I'll be honest. I had it on mute the whole time,
That's
sitting
the
there
only
on
way
my
to watch
second
it.
monitor. And as soon as I saw AJ Dybantsa start to make what looked like movements indicating he was getting ready to unzip his jacket, I said, "Unmute." There we go. And he said, "I'll be going to BYU," and I turned it back off.
That's the only way to watch that
Yeah,
program.
it was and I saw somebody tweeted out this morning right after the. Do not do that if you're a college.
Truly.
If you are a college basketball recruit, do not go on First Take to make your announcement. Do it on the internet where everyone else is. You've seen it from everyone mentioning like that show has the most boosted fake ratings of any. Like, you are not reaching that many people by going on First Take. It is on in every doctor's office. It is on in every airport. It is on in every waiting room in the country. Like, not that many people are actually watching it. So I'm glad you went to BYU, honestly, because you made me sit there and watch First Take, and that put a bad taste. It was a bad first impression of you, AJ Dybantsa.
If you're going to commit on ESPN, Jeff Goodman, right? Jeff Goodman from the field of 68 said, if you want to and you need to commit on ESPN, and look, that's a big deal. That's cool.
Sure.
Do it with SVP, an actual college basketball fan. They should have done and that's what the first.
And don't
take
do
guys,
it at 10 in the morning.
The First Take guys, when they April, May, March, April, they start watching college basketball again. And this is the most garbage takes in the world.
Yeah.
It's mind poison. I cannot believe that was the choice. I'm going to commit on First Take, but $10 million somewhere
Those
in the
are
range.
reports I have been seeing. I saw 7. I think I saw someone say some number higher than that. I don't remember what the exact figure was. Seems like maybe Alabama made a strong offer, but just not strong enough to land the number 1 overall recruit in the 2025 class.
I think $3 million is a strong ass offer. Do you?
I would certainly say so myself. Considering the alternative is, prior to 2, 3, 4 years ago was nothing. I'd say that's a pretty good offer.
Nate Oates and company reportedly, take it with a grain of salt, offered AJ Dybantsa roughly $3 million to come to Alabama. Look, this was always going to be a one-and-done situation. So BYU is paying $7 to $10 million for this young man to be on campus for 8 months, 9 months. And it's going to be worth it for them. Well, actually, do you think it's going to be worth it? Because, he is generationally talented.
He is.
Will he be able to at least get enough eyes on BYU? Will he be? Obviously, you're not going to recoup this from a straight money value, the $10 million, but you're going to recoup it in other ways. Future recruits, on-court success, corporate dollars, eyeballs. What do you think? At the BYU and the powers that be, the boosters, will get their money's worth. It obviously won't be a straight, here's $7 million in value, but do you think they'll get their money's worth?
It's really hard to say, honestly. I think you look at what maybe Brandon Miller did for this Alabama program. He, is the highest rated player to ever come here. I guess Colin Sexton, but I think Brandon Miller had maybe a little bit more impact just because of the run they were able to go on with him. And he certainly got a lot of eyes on Alabama basketball, if not only from just people around the country, but from the NBA as well. So
there were some circumstances as well.
Oh, well, we didn't have to get into those, But, man, that is a lot of money that you just now cannot use anywhere else to get any other talented players. Now, I don't know what the full collective looks like for BYU, and we've talked about it we've danced around it a little bit on the show, how much money they could possibly be worth. You don't really know because that school is fully funded by the Mormon Church, which could be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. We don't really know. So it's kind of,
does the B in BYU stand for billions?
At this point, I think we can pretty much say that it does. So if this is a trend maybe moving forward that BYU has decided that they are going to get into college sports finally and really start to take it seriously, we will see what happens. I think if that's the route they want to take, this will be a huge stepping point. Just getting the guy to come to BYU, because I can't imagine that's a very easy sell. It's not a lot goes on the BYU campus. I don't think it's super attractive to many 17, 18-year-olds that are not of the Mormon faith. And I don't think AJ Dybantsa is of the Mormon faith from everything I've seen.
What are the chances part of this? The chances are zero. But what are the chances that part of this $7 to $10 million offer is you come, you play as a freshman, and then you just embrace the Mormon life? You got to go on mission. You got to go on a 2-year mission, buddy. You can come back. You'll be a 22-year-old sophomore.
I believe that we would see him just unzipping his jacket to have the crimson T-shirt under that Nike hoodie.
Isn't it 2 years that they go on mission?
I think it is 2 years.
And so you come back as like an old man sophomore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you come back as an ancient 21-year-old.
Ooh, Mr. Hayes Fawcett, while we're on the show tweeting a little Alabama news, we'll just detour real quick. Caleb Odom going to visit. Are you looking at it?
Mm-mm.
Good. Don't check. If you had to say one place that Caleb Odom is definitely visiting, because this is it. Where do you think it is? Where do you think?
Ole Miss?
No.
Oh,
good guess.
Okay.
Good
Not
guess.
Ole Miss.
Lane Train, the money. Hotty toddy, transfer to the SIP. Good guess.
Let me
But
think
think a little
more.
flashier.
Texas.
A little flashier, but not as
Flashier.
much substance.
SMU.
Less substance. Same flash, less substance.
Miami.
No, Miami has national championships.
Ooh,
You'll hate yourself when I say this.
Oh
This is
man,
obvious.
I'm not gonna like it. Let me get one more.
This coach this year said, "How the hell are we not in the top 12 when we have a Heisman Trophy front runner?"
Is this Colorado?
Yes.
Oh no.
Caleb Odom is going to visit Colorado, and like that is so of course he's going to.
That's very on brand. Yeah, it's very on brand for Colorado. Very on brand for Caleb Odom. I hope it works out for him. You know,
of course. I'm not. I mean, I'm being silly. I hope it does work out for him, but like that just seems like
I would like to know what Deion's pitch to recruits is looking like right now because. I mean,
Shador's gone, right?
Shador's gone.
Oh no! It's obvious.
Julian
Lewis, right?
Sure.
Lewis from Carrollton High School. His old high school quarterback.
How locked in is Deion though? That's what I want to know. I mean, I would think that the second Jerry Jones comes calling once they fire Mike McCarthy, Deion's bouncing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he might try to bounce this year with his son
whichever team drafts Shador.
Might just be a package deal.
I'll
all
just
right,
be your quarterback's coach.
Brian Dable, you're fired. Thank you, Deion.
Caleb Odom, good job. All right, so AJ Dybantsa, we're still talking about him just a little bit. The $7 to $10 million.
I will say, I think he is a generational talent. He is the type of player that you put him on the court and he can get you to the tournament. He can take you to a Final Four.
Add a piece or two around him.
He might just need a little bit of help, and I don't know if BYU has a ton of help. I don't know what they have really on their roster. I haven't really looked into it much, but he is a guy that can take you to the promised land. I think he is that talented. He is that kind of player. But yeah, that's just a little too rich for my blood for 1 year of service.
All right, so we'll play with that. Because I think that Alabama should take it as a victory that you're that not only in the conversation, you're in the last two.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the last two for the best basketball prospect
Hang the banner
in the country. And you're going to get a lot of people, oh, those turds spending all that money. That's not college basketball. That's not college sport. Outspending. He's only going for them. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're in the top two. You have a real good program. You just got to keep being in these top two for these types.
Yeah.
So you didn't spend $3 million on this prospect. Was Kalen DeBoer the happiest person this morning when AJ Dybantsa unzipped the thing and said BYU? And I don't know how the money is allocated, but I wonder with that $3 million offer, could you go get an edge rusher? Could you go get a point guard next year? Like, I bet you can get 2 or 3 different athletes.
I would think so. I mean, that's a lot of money. You can split $1 million is a lot of money to a kid. You know, you offer some 4 stars that instead of the number 1 overall play, like you might land 3 or 4 stars instead of the 1 5-star. And I think, if we're weighing it out, probably going to get more value out of more players.
Rumors this summer were that Mark Sears got $800,000 to come back. So if we can give me like 3 of those jokers,
Yeah, man.
for that $3 million, it stinks to miss out on AJ Dybantsa, but I think that the Alabama fan base should quickly pivot and say, "Hey, it was a win that you're in the camp with the top 2, and literally you just got beat by an unheard of offer. You didn't get beat by North Carolina, who offered $2.5 million. I don't know that. I'm just hypothetical. You didn't get beat by Duke, who offered hypothetically 1.7 or 3.1. Like, you didn't get beat by any of these blue blood brands who offered comparable offers. No, you got beat by his hometown state, who
backed up the Brinks truck.
Yes, that's an offer that is unheard of.
Yeah.
And so, sorry, we're out on that. No big deal. Good job. Good luck at BYU. All right, Mason, I'm going to tell everybody about Purple Turtle Roofing, and then I'm going to let you kind of open it up. We're going to try Mason's Minute. I don't know what you want to talk about, but I figure you got something decent to talk about, and maybe we'll take the conversation home with 10 more minutes left in the show. Before we do get into Mason's Minute, let me tell you, the most reliable residential roofing replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi is Purple Turtle Roofing. Whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, man, you need to make sure your leaks are right today with the rain in West Alabama. Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. They're the leading expert in local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free roof inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. We encourage you to check them out online today at roofturtle.com, or find Dustin Foley on the Facebook machine. He's putting out lots of little info, little giveaways for Purple Turtle Roofing. So find him on the Facebook machine, Dustin Foley, and tell him that the Joe Gaither Show sent you. We appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the program.
One more quick thing, just to put that reported $7 million offer into perspective a little bit. The number 8 overall pick in the NBA draft this past year is making less than that per year. So, I mean, you just can't compete with that kind of money if that is what's being thrown around. Now, obviously, like we have said, we don't know 100% one way or the other, but that is what's being reported by people that, we both deem pretty credible. So now time for what I wanted to get into. I think this will be a little bit of fun. I want to take a tour across the state to our friends over there on the Georgia border, the Auburn Tigers. Auburn might be getting them a new elite quarterback talent.
Deuce Knight?
No. They got a new guy in town.
Oh, no.
We're talking Ashton Daniels, baby. Stanford transfer. 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions this season.
Wow. Okay.
This is according to, what is his name? Now I'm blanking. Pete Nakos and Steve Wilfong have predicted Auburn to land Stanford quarterback transfer. Now, this is what are we doing here, Auburn? I have to dunk on you here.
I'm surprised you're going this route to dunk on Auburn. There's another quarterback in the portal that they're in on as well.
Yeah, I missed that one. Oh man. What are we doing? Like, you saw what happened with Peyton Thorne. You just spent 2 years going through hell, dragging yourself to trying to get to a bowl game. And you just say, well, let's just do it all again. Let's just go do it all again. We got this elite guy here that we're not going to throw it. Let's go after some transfers that have been objectively mediocre at bad schools. What is the ethos of Hugh Freeze? It makes, what are you doing? Oh man, it's such an odd move. I'll give it to you at about 700 rushing yards last year. This is Peyton Thorne again. He is Peyton Thorne 2.0. He's going to throw a ton of interceptions. He'll run the ball moderately well at times. Auburn will likely put him in bad situations. What is happening here, Auburn?
You got the Stanford quarterback, but who was the Texas A&M quarterback?
Connor Wegman
that beat Alabama 3 years ago Robbie not Robbie Ashford. I'm looking at passing.
2021
2021 was it? 2020, but not Bo Nix. Obviously, maybe I'm too far back here. That Auburn got Peyton Thorne, Robbie. No, I'm missing a year. What am I doing here? 21? Was it 2020? Because you went out to Texas A&M.
Zach Calzada?
Yes. Didn't he transfer from Texas A&M to Auburn?
Does sound right. I forgot about this guy.
He did, right?
He is currently at the Incarnate Word, but yes, he did play for Auburn.
Right. So they're trying to. You pointed out the Stanford quarterback, but they're also one of the front runners for Oklahoma transfer Jackson Arnold.
What are you doing, you freeze?
Oh, you beat
Stop
Alabama.
Bringing in mediocre quarterback if you want to keep your job. What is your thought process?
This guy beat Alabama.
That's it. That's all it is.
By throwing 11 passes.
He
threw 11 passes against Crimson Tide. Man, if he only needs 11 passes to beat the Crimson Tide, think how much he'll beat the Crimson Tide when I call him to throw 23 passes.
Is he just throwing to like get his buyout so he can go live on the lake somewhere out in Georgia?
I think that really the objective answer here is you lost Peyton Thorne, you lost Holden Gurner, and you lost Hank Brown. And so your quarterback room looks like Deuce Knight next year. And Deuce probably going to be your best quarterback, but you do need to have a warm body with him.
But you're Auburn. Can't get anybody better than Ashton Daniels. You're the proud Auburn family.
It's just different down here. You wouldn't understand. Ashton Daniels will. He'll understand. He'll be part of the family.
Hey, they're gonna coach them boys up. That's what they're gonna do. Man, oh man, things.
Does Hugh Freeze survive a third bad year at Auburn?
No, he does not. They will not put up with this for a third year. If he doesn't win 9 games, he's out.
What do you think of the fake tweets that you're seeing? Cam Coleman into the transfer portal.
I sent you one earlier. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
these are nasty work. These are nasty work. So this is one I saw this morning. It is breaking news. Alabama true freshman wide receiver Ryan Williams reportedly has entered the transfer portal. And I knew, as someone who sees this every day, this is immediately not real. However, the vast majority of people scrolling Twitter will not have that, foresight because they are not dealing with this on a constant basis like you and I are, Joe. So my first instinct was I'm not going to click on the link. I'm just going to highlight it and just see what the link is. And the hyperlink that it sends you to is a story titled Alabama true freshman wide receiver enters the transfer portal. So I start to actually panic, and it's just Caleb Odom. That is nasty work. You should be ashamed of yourself. Man, that is so evil. So anyone that saw that same post and maybe fell for it, do not buy it. It is fake. Ryan Williams isn't going anywhere. You can tell by his tattoos that he revealed last night, which God love him, buddy. You got to quit getting free tattoos from your buddies in their apartments. Those were some of that was some interesting work right there.
You didn't think it looked good?
No, I did not. No, I did not think it looked very good. I thought it looked objectively pretty bad. Ryan, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here. You're going to be making a lot of money. You should have saved that skin for when you had some real money to pay a real artist to do your tattoos.
I think he's got some real money.
Yeah, he probably does. So why are we getting free? Why are we getting free apartment tattoos? You watch the video. It's literally just someone's kitchen he's standing in minutes after getting inked.
Terrible.
He got a game to play in a couple weeks. Your leg not going to be sore?
It's on his arm, right? RAW down his arm.
I thought it was on his shin.
Oh,
I think it's his shin, and then the back of it is a lion with Jesus's face.
Oh, I did not see that one.
Yeah, no,
yeah. Probably horrible.
It does not look good.
It probably was terrible.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, he's got he's got Savage on his arm, I think, right here, something like that. But yeah, buddy. I mean, this is not an issue only with Ryan. This is athletes across the board. Get better tattoos. Stop letting your buddies say, "Hey man, I got a tattoo gun. I'll give you a free tattoo." Stop doing that. Stop allowing that to happen.
I got a B+ in high school.
Man, oh man. Like, especially now, y'all got way too much money to be doing this. There are plenty of extremely talented tattoo artists in the city of Tuscaloosa that you could have taken your business to.
They probably would have tattooed you for free.
I guarantee they would have, and it would have been an awesome thing. You could have probably made some cool NIL thing out of it. Who knows?
Speaking of Ryan Williams, and since we're at the end of the show and nobody's listening anyways, if you are listening, you can leave us a comment. You're a real one. Have you seen this leaked Ryan Williams Snapchat back and forth between him and another girl? Oh, Ryan.
Do you think that she's aware that he's a minor?
Well, isn't I hate to say this, but isn't the age of consent in Alabama
Technically,
17?
yes, I believe
Okay,
so.
so
So I don't
Ryan's
think
fine.
anyone's actually breaking laws. But boy, I tell you what, if I was
throwing it on the wall,
whoa, buddy, hey Ryan, let's pump the brakes a little bit, big fella. You still have at least 2 more years before you go to the NFL. Let's slow your roll.
it is just like, oh, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. It's like the kid is like, oh, I only got one play, baby. Let's just all 4 burps. Go, baby.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, just let's take it easy, big fella. Let's pump the brakes a
Indy,
little
no
bit.
huddle, right to it, straight to
He's a straight shooter, He's a straight shooter. Tells it how it is. He
NASCAR.
tells you exactly what he's looking for.
That's what we used to do in high school. It's called NASCAR.
Oh, we had a NASCAR. We had a NASCAR.
You know. Oh, Ryan Williams, you crazy man. You're crazy man. I cannot. Hey,
His sophomore year, I've said it once. I will say it again. Ryan Williams' sophomore season will feed families.
I have no hate for what was leaked because
Hey,
I was a 17-year-old.
Yeah,
He
man.
just.
I probably wouldn't have had the gusto to say something like that.
No.
But if,
I would not have had
maybe if I'd found myself in Ryan Williams' situation, who knows? I don't know.
Of course,
I'm not going to hold it against him.
I would not have had the stones to have said some of the things that he was saying, and maybe that's what makes him so special. We'll see. Oh, we got to get out of here on that note. We're done for the day. We're going to keep watching the transfer portal. It is Creighton Hate Week, and we hope you have hated the Blue Jays today. Saturday night, Coleman Coliseum. Those nasty Blue Jays are coming in.
I shooed one out of my backyard this morning.
Good.
Yeah.
Get them out of here. Go. Yeah.
Sicked Rusty on it. He didn't get it, but he gave a valiant effort.
He'll get it tomorrow. Right here on the Joe Gaither Show. We'll be back tomorrow to talk more Alabama football transfer portal offseason news. I don't really want to start on the Outback Bowl for a while, so we'll get into that next week. So we'll talk more, and we'll catch you tomorrow next right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral and BamaCentral.